Hello again. Let's turn to the book of Colossians this morning. Colossians chapter 1 and verse 9, and read another prayer of Paul. Paul says this, "For this cause we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you, and to desire that you might be filled with the knowledge of his will in all wisdom and spiritual understanding, that you might walk worthy of the Lord unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work, and increasing in the knowledge of God, strengthened with all might, according to his glorious power, unto all patience and long suffering with joyfulness, giving thanks unto the Father, which has made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in light, who has delivered us from the power of darkness, and hath translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sin." As Paul is praying for the church at Colossus, he starts that prayer like this, that you might be filled with the knowledge of his will, in all wisdom and spiritual understanding. We must be willing to know his will, and we must be willing to accept his will and to do what he has asked us to do and to be what he has asked us to be. And as we grow in him, as we mature in him, we come closer and better to know in all wisdom and spiritual understanding that following God's will is the perfect way for us to walk. Then he goes a little farther and he says that you might walk worthy unto the Lord, unto all pleasing. Walking worthy, as we look at this verse, first of all, pleases God. Walking worthy helps us to be fruitful, because the next thing it says, being fruitful unto every good work, and increasing in the knowledge of God. Walking worthy gives us an opportunity to please God, to bear fruit, and to increase in knowledge. Let's walk worthy before the Lord. That's Paul's prayer for the church, that we might be strengthened with all might, according to his glorious power, unto all patience and long suffering with joyfulness. Even, he says literally, that we might have joyful patience and long suffering. You know, sometimes we suffer in silence, but if we follow after the admonition of Paul, we will be joyful in our patience and long suffering with each other, and we'll allow God to keep that joy of the Lord in our soul, giving thanks unto the Father, which has made us and enabled us to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in light. Isn't that marvelous? He has enabled us to be inheritors of the light. Verse 13 talks about the darkness, because it says he delivered us from the power of darkness. So we are saints in light versus people who are under the power of the darkness. The translation of that means that we're lifted out of a situation and placed in the best possible scenario. That's what God does in our lives when we follow him. And have translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sin. Isn't it marvelous to know that we have redemption through the blood of Christ? That was Paul's prayer for the Colossian church, is that they might know that they've been delivered from darkness into his marvelous light through the blood of Jesus Christ. That's how we made it. That's how we're in light instead of darkness, through the blood of Christ. And I'm so thankful that he answered Paul's prayer for you and I. God bless you, folks.